Well, that was depressing. The year is 1987. The Nintendo Fun Club came into existence, and this was a club that manifested from Nintendo headquarters, and it was free to join, and all the members got a free subscription to their magazine called Nintendo Fun Club News. This was a service that provided players with news about upcoming games, comics, and even discussed what people were thinking of popular games at that time. This all had to happen, of course, because the existence of the internet was, well, let's just say no one really knew what it was just yet. Back in the olden days, we actually talked face-to-face with people about secrets and games. There were 4 issues of the magazine that released later that year, with the final 3 rolling over into 1988, but the magazine then became discontinued because, well, they probably wanted some money for all the hard work they were going through. It was ditched for a more traditional subscription-based service and would be known as Nintendo Power. Nintendo Power got its first publication in August of 1988, and the cover game was none other than the critically acclaimed classic that was sweeping the nation, Super Mario Bros. 2. No applause? That game sucked? Oh, okay then. You know what? I love Super Mario Bros. 2. That was complete sarcasm, so everyone needs to calm down. Every member of the Nintendo Fun Club actually got a free copy of the first magazine because it was essentially the same thing, just a little bit better, and you had to pay for it, so I'm sure Nintendo felt a little greedy for that. So since the internet was still in the stages of pre-production, Nintendo Power's earlier issues focused more on game strategy, tips and secrets hidden within the games, and previews of all the upcoming games. It's not a weird concept to think about. If you wanted news on video games, you had to wait for a physical piece of news once a month that told you. God, kids are spoiled today. For the first few years of the magazine's lifetime, a character created by Nintendo Fun Club president Howard Phillips called Nestor was the mascot. Nestor's Adventures was dropped altogether during the early 90s in favor of having Mario as the main mascot from then on out. Also during the early 90s, possibly the most genius subscription gaining tactic of all time took place. Nintendo gave away a free copy of Dragon Quest to every new subscriber. The game didn't really meet the sales that they anticipated, so they had a bunch of copies left over, and this was just a way to boost magazine sales as well as receive some compensation for the developers' work on the game. Throughout the rest of the 90s, various issues featured different comic stories based on Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, as well as others. It later transitioned to Star Fox and Super Metroid once those were out, and even comics that were not based on Nintendo's properties got comic strips. Games such as Blast Corps and Star Wars Shadows of the Empire were part of this. Nintendo Power even covered things like the Pokemon anime series and Kirby, right back at ya. What am I doing with my life? Now let's move on from the rose-tinted glasses I have for the older issues and talk about the more recent ones. During the early 2000s, Nintendo brought back the comic idea and advertised various games this way. Games such as Custom Robo, Metroid Prime, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and even Metal Gear Solid were featured heavily here. Now people still obtained most of their news primarily by word of mouth and magazines and television during this time period. But in 2007, Nintendo announced that Future US would be publishing the magazine from then on out. They also announced that there would be 13 issues in one year instead of just 12. Now the bonus issue would come out during the holiday season, but then 3 years later they canned it because probably due to production costs or something, I don't really know. Now sadly, in August of 2012, Nintendo did announce that they would not be renewing the licensing agreement that they had with Future US, and then Nintendo Power would be ceasing to exist in December of that year. Now the final volume did feature a major throwback to the first issue of Nintendo Power in 1988. The original issue featured clay models of Mario and Wart to celebrate the existence of Super Mario Bros. 2, and the final issue that came out in 2012 represented the same concept but used Mario and Bowser, celebrating the launch of New Super Mario Bros. U. Now Nintendo Power transitioned pretty well over the years. I would have to say that it was pretty amazing how they involved the community in later issues. They featured things such as most wanted sections, fan art, mailboxes, and even reviews of games from fan if I remember correctly. Now Nintendo Power lives on in what is known as Nintendo Force, which is a bi-monthly magazine that covers various fronts that the former covered. Go on over and subscribe to them if you want to relive the greatness that Nintendo Power was. Oh, you're still here? I figured you guys would have all left by now. Well, thanks for watching that video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you did like it, then please leave a like, comment, and possibly subscribe too. Here's a button down here if you want to check it out, please. If you want to watch the last one, there's a little link over here. Click the annotation right here, and you'll go right to that video. As always, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.